When given a gift, you usually don't ask for a price. But is it really safe to say that the price of a vision is free? No. Today, I want to theorize about the truth of the visions and why they aren't gifts from the skies above. They're the eyes of God keeping track of those that could be threats to the heavenly principles. I will be using references from both in-game and real-life Gnosticism, and as a disclaimer, this is all just a speculation and theorizing. Nothing is indicative of the final product. But before that, this video was sponsored by Opera GX, a browser built for a gamer's perfect customization and optimization. Tired of having your browser just look like a blank sheet of paper? Opera GX lets you pick and choose special themes, custom wallpapers, and upload your own background photos. Wait, I think I made a lapse in judgment. How stretched out this was. Oh god. With the many cool animated backgrounds and themes of Opera GX, I have successfully amended my mistake of whatever in the world I accidentally did. Also, Opera GX comes with both light and dark mode. But if you don't use dark mode, I pray for your sanity. Anyway, lag? Pfft, who's that? Only the 999 ping of Genshin's Asia servers. But we can't have that. Opera GX offers amazing CPU and RAM control, letting users limit how much the browser uses up. With the notes on the side, you can limit the memory and processor being used in the background. Honestly, it's a good idea to have this if you're like me that renders videos, but also needs to do research on the topic. I tend to clutter a lot of tabs while making videos, and there have been too many instances of accidentally resetting all my progress by exiting the browser. For reference, most browsers eat up at least 50% of your memory if you leave it unchecked in the background. So having a limiter is super helpful if you want to check the best builds for Genshin characters or lists of materials while playing, like Kazuha's Ascension materials! Genshin Impact's music is wholly available on Spotify, and sometimes I just want to listen to some old tunes while playing. Opera GX allows you to log into Spotify, Apple Music, and YouTube Music directly through a sidebar in Opera GX. The player lets you keep your favorite streaming services in one place. Additionally, to those that are saying can Scaramouche do the Fandango, I've got news for you guys. He already did the Fandango a long time ago. His theme song is called Ominous Fandango. Checkmate! Anyway, download Opera GX through the link in the description and pinned comments. Thank you to Opera GX for sponsoring this video. And with that, let's begin. Gods are known to play by the rules, and as Venti says, they aren't easily fooled. In Genshin Impact's tale of ambition, desire, and delusion, having your personal emotions condensed into a small orb is a very weird concept. But I speculate that these orbs given by gods aren't rewards for one's ambition, but rather the beginning of a series of surveillance and observation from Celestia. This video will cover 6 key theories about the vision, from the moment it is given to the mortal while they are on Earth, and up until their meeting with the deities of Celestia. The first point is that visions are instruments of achieving one's ambitions. Visions are small orbs that are given by divine entities to those that are worthy or have shown great potential. According to Thoma, these are representations of one's ambition, and according to Yaimiko, losing one is akin to losing one's ambitions. However, that might not be the true scope of the situation. The way that vision wielders get their elemental power is various, from Bennett's near-death experience to Fischl's moment of absolute loneliness to Albedo just having a nice Tuesday experiment. It doesn't seem like the gaining of ambition is inherently tied to the present situation, but what it can be tied to is the passive ambition growing within a person. When you observe the playable characters, each of them has something to fight for, whether it be something as grand as finding the truth of the world or just wanting to change the culinary landscape of Liyue. While they say they don't care about getting a vision, that doesn't matter. What matters is that they care for something and want to invoke a large amount of change in the world. And with want and ambition comes action. That's where visions come in. I do agree with what Thoma says. These are given to people with strong ambitions, but this is done with an alternative purpose. I believe visions are intended to test the wielder. Imagine this. You are given the control of the elements at almost the same caliber as God. You are capable of world-changing feats and the gods are smiling upon you. Celestia is also not known for punishing those that abuse their mortal power amongst each other. For example, Tartaglia gets to keep his vision despite using it for deliberate harm. So what that means is that if a mortal is willing to use and abuse the god's power just for their ambitions, a vision would be a primary tool. And that amount of power takes the strongest responsibility to keep your ego in check. Which moves me to my next point. The visions are tests to see a person's dedication to their ambition. It doesn't matter if a person didn't care about their vision when they first got it. Because I believe that the moment a person gains their vision, their passion, wants, and desires are represented as a gem. Consented or not, losing a vision will have implications, especially if they are over-reliant on their vision. The best way to test this is by losing a vision. A vision being lost, according to the Inazuma Archon quest, is like losing your whole identity, character, personality, and memories. But that's not actually true. Because we know that Arataki Ito lost his vision in the decree without suffering the mind-numbing consequences of other Inazuman citizens. So what's going on here? Well, it's possible that a vision is meant to gauge just how reliant are you to the power of the gods. Will you fall apart once the thread of power is stripped away from you? Or will you keep fighting for what you believe in? Or do you just not care enough about your own ambition that you don't care what happens if it's gone? That's also an alternative perspective on the situation. Because even if a person doesn't use their vision a lot, that doesn't mean it's completely inactive. Because the vision isn't just meant for the benefit of the wielder. It's the way for Celestia to remotely inspect a mortal's ambition and power. In translations, the visions are known as the eyes of God, and in the Archon quest, Yai states that humans want A's divine gaze, and A asks if she meant visions. This means that gods are able to resonate with their people's visions. I don't know if this is bound by location and dominion, but if I had to guess, it is. After all, the Archon War was created to see who would have certain dominions over certain places of Tevat. So, for example, a person that receives their vision with the symbol of Mondstadt would be under Venti's watchful gaze, while at the same time, a person with a Liyuan shell won't be under Venti's care. This would also tie in well with Khaenriah not having a god, but Kaya, who was a descendant of Khaenriah lineage, would have a vision with a Mondstadt crest. But notice that I said watchful gaze, not control. Because number 4, the Archons are not responsible for the visions. They have no control of the visions, and when asked about them, Zhongli and A are quite somber about it, while Venti is straight up avoidant. According to Zhongli and A, they are limited in what they can divulge. A says that she is contracted not to say anything, but that the visions have a hidden agenda. Zhongli also states that visions are a form of contract, and that with great power comes great responsibility. That means that it's possible that there are entities in Celestia that are in charge of watching the vision wielders as a whole, which would support the theory that the Archons only have immediate observation over people with their respective dominion shells. After all, someone up above must be overseeing everything so that the vision wielders don't overstep their boundaries. It is also possible that this has connections with real-world Gnosticism, in which the Archons are simply there to oversee the material world. They instead answer to a greater being, which in this case is Celestia. But we can go deeper, because the visions may have been bestowed by the Monad, or the true god. First is that in the Genshin Impact manga, an exile from Sumeru named Collei monologues that the gods favor certain people while those that weren't have to fight for scraps. In the panel, there is a god with an eye and hands building something with divine Legos. This may be a reference to the one god or the monad of Gnosticism, kind of like God with a capital G in Christianity. Archons are known to be the weakest entity in the hierarchy, and the monad is the highest. But to go deeper, we return to the real name of the vision wielders. After the Mondstadt prologue, Venti states a secret that Archons know about vision wielders. Their true name is Allogene. This revelation opens several hints to the true nation of a vision wielder's fate. Allogenes are known as the Stranger and represent half-human and half-divine entities. Allogenes are capable of communication with realms beyond the sense, which in this case are the elements. According to Venti, these people are fated to ascend into Celestia. There are also rumors that the stairway ascending to Celestia can be found inside a vision. In Gnosticism, there is a text known as the Nag Hamdi Library, which states the following. O Allogenes, a great power was put upon you, with the Father of the All, the Eternal, put upon you before you came to this place, in order that those things that are difficult to distinguish you might distinguish,
and those things that are unknown to the multitude you might know, and that you might escape in safety to the one who is yours, who was the first to save and who does not need to be saved.
So, the reason they are being monitored is to see if they are worthy of ascending to Celestia. Yes? Well, yes, but not in the way that you would think. Because number 6, it is not exactly a reward either. Allogenes are expected to return to the monad and fully meet the gods as their equal, but this is at the cost of their own ambition. Celestia is not known to be a benevolent entity whatsoever. They are ultimately lawful and will not adjust any of their principles for anyone. According to some comments in my previous Celestia video, the inside of Celestia kind of looks like a prison, specifically a panopticon. Venti also seems very uncomfortable when speaking of Celestia. Since he's the god of freedom, it would make sense he's against an entity that's completely lawful neutral, since he believes that some principles can be changed if it means benefiting and helping others. This may also include keeping the ambitions of people sealed. Allogenes are given power because of their amazing potential to walk through their mortal life with strong dedication, but when in a place of absolute lawfulness, emotions are disposable. And what's stranger is that in relation to Allogenes, it's stated in the Nag Hamdi Library that it's in the stillness of silence when a blessed one can attain fullness of the one God.
Cease hindering the inactivity that exists in you by seeking incomprehensible manners.
Allogenes are therefore told that their purpose is to be harbingers of the true God. But this can only be achieved by certain traits: stillness, passivity, unknowing, and calmness. Definitely a 180 from the thought that Allogenes were allegedly given visions for their fervor, their dedication, and their ambition. So, what's going on? Well, it might just be how the world works. Allogenes are brought to Celestia to be tempered. These are mankind's finest minds and strongest willpowers, which does prove that they have what it takes to walk amongst the gods. They have the virtue, the heart, and the compassion to get this far, and their abilities are nothing to scoff at. But they don't have the right mentality, the right mindset. They're too loud, too idealistic, too human. They need to be tempered. They need to be calm. They need to be still.
Do not know him, for it is impossible. But if by means of an enlightened thought you should know him, be ignorant of him.
But why would they want to temper those with strong ambitions? Besides to resonate with the one true God, it may also be because ambitions are dangerous. Ambition brings delusion. And as history in Tevat has proven time and time again, humankind is an arrogant species. And if given too much ambition, they might get too ahead of themselves. And when that happens, it's time for Celestia to step in and put humans in their place. Before I end this video, I would like to address several inconsistencies with this theory that I found while I was writing it. First, why would some people not care about their visions being taken? Well, if the visions are supposed to be signs of ambitions, then if you don't care about losing one, it means you don't care about your ambition being lost. It's possible you just have other things that you want to do. It's also possible that you just don't care about the vision in the first place, but that would directly contradict the notion of the vision being a sign of ambition, not power. Also, if a person loses their vision and they don't care enough to rekindle it or just lose themselves, then Celestia would have no need to ascend them. They stop being an overall threat in the first place. Second, why would A want to confiscate the visions? A's mentality on visions is recontextualized by her quote about them, that they represented something so much more. But another quote she said that made me start this theory was regarding the fact that most of the deaths in the Vision Hunt Decree was because of humankind's pursuit for ambitions. Which is true. Visions being taken don't immediately constitute to death, which means that if A's eternal vegetation of human ambition is closely related to Celestia, it could be that this state of inactivity was what both A and Celestia are looking for. After all, A also witnessed what happened in Khaenriah, the pride of humanity. Additionally, and this will be a stretch, A might be informed what happens when people ascend to Celestia and wants to stop the process as early as possible. Now with that, I conclude my theory that visions aren't gifts, but rather instruments for a much greater plot that involves tempering mankind's ambitions. Well, what do you guys think? Do you think visions are blessings or curses? And for the question of this video, what vision would you guys want and why? I just like reading comments. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoy this kind of content. But yes, thank you so much for watching. My name is Aster, and thank you for chilling with me. Another thank you again to Opera GX for sponsoring this video.